Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Where the heck are we today? We are down here in Vacaville, California for the California CCW conference. Down here with my good folks with Right to Bear. More on that to follow. Hey, we need to talk about a rough week that the Attorney General is having. That's right. We're going to spend a couple minutes. We're going to talk about Attorney General Pam Bondi. Now, we are all still waiting on bated breath for what will probably turn out to be a big nothing burger with her report pursuant to President Trump's executive order on the Second Amendment. But worse than that, it appears that the new DOJ is much like the old DOJ. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in just a moment. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about Pam Bondi's very bad week so far. Okay, hey, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, let's remember that this video is being brought to us by our good friends at Right to Bear. That's right, legal protection for self-defense. Listen, you're not truly prepared unless you have yourself a life vest. And listen, there's a lot of life vests out there, and you just need one of them on. But we ask that you check out the good folks at Right to Bear because they do have one of the most cost-effective, most efficient, and most comprehensive plans on the market. For more information, visit my good friends at protectwithbear.com. Okay, America, we're going to talk about Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice. I recognize that many of you were kind of lukewarm on her to begin with. I thought maybe some of that wasn't deserved, but yeah, if you're growing a little cool on her right now, that may actually well be deserved. What we're going to talk today about is a rather disturbing brief that was filed in the matter of United States v. Peterson. Now, we have already covered that case once before. This is where a three-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit actually found that the Second Amendment does not even protect suppressors, that they do not even fall under the gambit of Second Amendment protections. Obviously, the Peterson party has decided to appeal that to a full en banc panel of the Fifth Circuit. The United States Department of Justice, and this would be an attorney who is definitely working under the direction of Attorney General Bondi, has now filed a brief in response to that opposing the en banc review. Let me say that again. The United States government is actually doubling down on the fact that suppressors do not fall under the protections of the Second Amendment. Now, took me a day or so to actually get the brief. I know a lot of people were blowing up X and YouTube yesterday about this issue. I wanted to have an opportunity to sit down and read the entire memorandum. I had an opportunity, thanks to Braden Langley over there at Langley Outdoor Academies. Check him out too, by the way. He was kind enough to send me the brief this morning, had a chance to geek out on it. And so did the United States really double down on this whole, hey, suppressors aren't covered by the Second Amendment? Oh, they most certainly did. Peterson's primary argument for rehearing en banc is that the panel's decision, and that of every court to decide the issue, was wrong because a firearm is an arm, B, a suppressor is a useful attachment to a firearm insofar as it reduces the noise emitted when a firearm is discharged, and C, because it is useful and can be attached to a firearm, a suppressor also becomes an arm. Now, I want you to understand that right now, Pam Bondi's Department of Justice is arguing the following. The only reference at all in Peterson's petition to Supreme Court precedent is the definition of bearable arms articulated in District of Columbia v. Heller. And then they doubled down again. The panel's decision that a suppressor is not an arm because it is not a weapon plainly does not conflict with Supreme Court precedent that an arm means a weapon. And the Department of Justice actually goes as so far to argue rather, it is Peterson's proposed test that would contravene the purpose of Second Amendment jurisprudence. A pillow or a plastic soda bottle taped to the barrel of a firearm can also reduce the noise from the discharge of a bullet. Do these items too become weapons when attached to a gun and therefore gain constitutional protection? And after they get down doubling down on that ludicrous argument, they basically then argue to the Fifth Circuit, you know, this issue is really just not that important. This is from their memorandum. This case does not present an exceptionally important question. No federal court at any level has found that a suppressor is protected by the Second Amendment. Every court to decide the issue, including 3 appellate courts, has held that a suppressor is not an arm. And then, of course, the Department of Justice. And again, this is old hat. This is what's most frustrating. It's like, the same DOJ as what we saw before. So when I say the new DOJ is just like the old DOJ, consider this from their memorandum. In fact, even if the court would be the first to find that a suppressor is protected by the Second Amendment, the NFA's registration requirement would remain in place. But you see, Attorney General Bondi, maybe the big reason why there hasn't been a lot of courts to rule that the Second Amendment is protected by the Second Amendment is because there's no need to. You see, because by federal law, it constitutes an arm. Don't believe me? All you got to do is read 18 United States Code, Section 921, subsection 3. The term firearm means A, any weapon, including a starter gun, which will or is designed to or may be readily converted to expel a projectile by the action of an explosive. B, the frame or receiver of any such weapon. C, any firearm muffler or firearm silencer. Or D, any destructive device. So you see, Attorney General Bondi and to everyone else at the Department of Justice, it's not my opinion. It's actually black letter law right there in the statute. Now, I know some of you are immediately jumping to joy saying, well, hey, if they're not considered arms and they're not fall under the gambit of the Second Amendment, then there's no reason for them to be in the NFA. That is true. Here's what's also equally true, is that many more states will start acting like Illinois, and they'll just start flat out banning them because why? Well, there is no Second Amendment protection. So at the end of the day, as I sit here on Tuesday of this week, Attorney General Pam Bondi has not had a particularly good week. We are still waiting with bated breath for her report pursuant to the president's executive order. And for some reason, based upon what I saw with the Epstein list, I've known that many of you are worried that it too will be a big fat nothing burger. It's already late, and candidly, it is kind of put up or shut up time for Attorney General Bondi. Then in addition to that, as much as we wanted to believe, as much as we hope that the new Department of Justice would be something so different than what we were used to seeing, they have once again doubled down on a blatantly ludicrous argument in the hopes of advancing civilian disarmament legislation. Okay, the case once again is United States v. Peterson. We're going to link it up down below so that all of you don't have to take our word for it. You can geek out on it for yourself. I want to thank all the good folks down here in California that were kind enough to invite us down to the California CCW conference. I want to thank the good folks at Right to Bear for making it possible. Remember, all of their information is down below in the description box. If you guys got any questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information is also there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, cool. Tell us all about it. Just click on that link right there and let us know. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do that is down there in the box as well. And then finally, and most importantly, America, let's remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.